Coming up, Valdosta police search for clues after a burglary at Best Buy.
And President Obama schedules a fundraiser in Atlanta. Your News Valdosta starts now. Welcome to News Valdosta. I'm Stephen Cook.
And I'm Allison Brooke. Valdosta police are still investigating Sunday's burglary of Best Buy on Norman Drive. In the early hours of the morning, before any employees were in the store, a stolen vehicle crashed through the back door. Surveillance video shows 7 people dressed in black breaking into the store. About $10,000 in merchandise was stolen.
A bizarre assault in Miami had the internet in uproar over a potential zombie outbreak. Saturday afternoon, a Miami policeman fatally shot a man who was chewing on another man's face. This would-be cannibal was naked and refused to stop, attempting to consume his victim despite the officer's intervention. News quickly spread across the internet that the attack was the first sign of a zombie outbreak. It has been revealed that the attacker was likely overdosing on a new, super potent form of LSD.
A DeKalb County 4-year-old is now recovering after shooting himself in the head with a gun he found in a box in his home. Police spokeswoman Mecca Parrish said that the child discharged the gun while he was handling it and the bullet grazed his head. The child was taken to a local hospital and so far no charges are pending.
President Obama will return to Atlanta for a fundraiser next month. The event will take place at the Westin Peachtree Plaza Hotel on June 26th. And general admission will cost $500 a ticket. Special tickets will also be available for the hefty sum of $10,000, which will allow the guests to join in a special photo reception with President Obama. This will be the second visit to Atlanta for the president in the past few months, as he joined filmmaker Tyler Perry in March for a special fundraiser.
In Congress, battle over national debt, student loans have surfaced as a major issue. Student loan interest rates will double to 6.8% across the board starting in July. This increase could add thousands to educational debt. This comes after last year's decision to have graduate students incur interest on their undergraduate loans while they're in school instead of remaining in complete deferment.
After yesterday's GOP presidential primary in Texas, Mitt Romney has now hit the number of delegates needed to secure the Republican presidential nomination. This confirms what many people had already believed after his main opponent, Rick Santorum, dropped out of the race last month. Romney should be named the official nominee at the GOP National Convention at the end of August.
Stephen Lamar Scott, a man who was sentenced to life in prison after shooting a man 12 times and killing him, has had his murder conviction overturned. The Georgia Supreme Court found the original judge made an error in not allowing certain evidence that was important to Scott's defense. He now hopes for a retrial on a lesser charge like voluntary manslaughter, which has a sentence of 20 years. Scott was arrested after shooting a man to death who had reportedly molested his 16-year-old niece.
11 Alive and the American Red Cross will hold a blood drive on June 8th in Snellville in honor of Amy Copeland. She's a 24-year-old woman who contracted a rare flesh-eating bacteria that has ravaged her body. The blood drive will be held at the Snellville Middle School where Amy went to school. At the hospital, she said her first words this past Sunday. Those words she uttered, "Wow, this is amazing." Surprised to hear her own voice. So far, she has beaten the 1% chance of survival she was given at the beginning of this very difficult journey.
A man died last night after crashing his truck into a vacant Marietta building. The 68-year-old driver had a medical emergency before the crash and was in cardiac arrest as the emergency crew arrived on scene. Authorities suspect that was the cause of the wreck. No one else was injured in the crash.
Coming up, ticks are spreading across the South.
And an earthquake strikes California. Stay with us. Welcome back to News Valdosta. A Georgia coastal city is preening for a competition to show its beauty.
Tybee Island is competing for most beautiful place in America's best small town competition. Tybee faces off against 3 other areas in the most beautiful subcategory and 26 other places across America to make the list. Valdosta was a contender in last year's competition. In the next 3 weeks, inspection teams will arrive and report back with photos, videos, and blogs about their experience.
An Indian prison has released Valdosta native Jeff Warren after a court hearing. Warren had been in India representing South Georgia Pecan and was in the process of leaving the country when 23 rounds of hunting ammunition was found in a pocket of his duffel bag at the airport in New Delhi. Warren, an avid hunter, was unaware of the ammunition being in his duffel bag. The bag somehow made it through every security checkpoint until it got to New Delhi.
Valdosta Regional Airport has been evolving over the years. News Valdosta's John Fuller has more.
While the Valdosta Regional Airport may not be the first thing that residents associate with Valdosta, it has become one of the great sources of revenue for the community. Built in the 1940s, the airport has undergone many changes over the years. Billy Lewis has seen many of the changes firsthand.
I've been a pilot since 1990. Got my license here at Valdosta initially, and I've been working here at the FBO, Valdosta Flying Service, for since 1990 as well.
Perhaps one of the largest changes to the airport was the lengthening of runway 35 to adapt to larger traffic needs.
It was 6,000 feet then. It's over 8,000 feet now. It's capable of about any commercial airplane can safely land here now. We're kind of focused on our flight training, and now and in recent times we've grown from a single airplane and a part-time flight instructor to 4 very active flight instructors.
Each 1-hour training flight brings $120 to the FBO for airplane rental. Each flight instructor also receives $45 for each hour of instruction. If one thing's for sure, this Class D airport is here to stay and serve the community of Valdosta. With News Valdosta, I'm John Fuller.
The rate of people suffering from kidney stones is on the rise. During the 1990s, about 1 in 20 people suffered from the painful stones. That rate is now 1 in 11. Those who suffer from obesity, diabetes, and gout are more likely to get the unpleasant diagnosis. Kidney stones are less likely if you eat a balanced diet and get enough exercise. 12,000 participants were involved in the study conducted by the Center for Disease Control.
According to public health officials, there have been a reported increase in the number of ticks in the South this year. These changes began in 2009 and have been slowly increasing since. While the number of cases of Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever are not yet alarming, Southerners should be mindful of these creeping arachnids. Ticks often attach to humans after contact with grass, trees, or walking through wooded areas. If you spend time in these areas, search yourself thoroughly after returning home.
Citizens of Malibu, California felt some shaking last night as an earthquake struck 27 miles off the coast of California. There are no reports of injuries or damages after the 4.0 magnitude earthquake struck at 10:14 p.m. local time. This quake was the first one in 10 days that registered above 3.0 on the Richter scale.
The 5.8 earthquake that shook the region of Italy just north of Bologna yesterday injured at least 200 people, with 7 still missing. This earthquake comes right on the tail of a tremor that shook the area less than a week ago. The quake left over 14,000 residents without a home. Prime Minister Mario Monti has reassured the public that the state is doing all that it can to return to normal as soon as possible.
Taking a look at your local weather, it looks like Tropical Storm Beryl isn't going to let up this week. Today, expect afternoon thunderstorms with a high of 93. Tonight, the low will reach 70. Tomorrow is going to be rainy with a high of 90.
Coming up, a science center gets a second chance.
And new art pieces are popping up across VSU. Stay with us.
Welcome back to News Valdosta. I'm Stephen Cook.
And I'm Allison Brooke. There's some good news for Atlanta today, and it all has to do with science. The Fernbank Science Center in DeKalb County will stay open for another day. After hundreds of citizens signed petitions to keep the establishment open, the school district reevaluated the budget to possibly find a place for the Science Center to fit. Currently, the DeKalb County Public School District faces a $73 million deficit for the next school year. Closing the Science Center could save them $5 million.
71-year-old Claretha Reams has graduated from Wiregrass Georgia Technical College with a GED. She began working on the diploma at the age of 56 as part of her court-ordered community service after having some trouble. Earning a GED was simply a personal goal that she is determined to accomplish. After retiring in 2006 from Turner's Furniture Company, she continued working on her GED, ultimately achieving her goal.
The Friends of the Library organization is a major supporter of our library system. News Valdosta's Patricia Magnan has more.
On Tuesdays and Saturdays, the Friends of the Library runs a backdoor bookstore selling hardbacks and paperbacks for $1 and under. The Friends of the Library organization is a major contribution for the City of Valdosta's library system. In a time of decreases for traditional funding sources, the Friends provide both revenue and volunteer efforts. The Friends also donate materials which emphasize the library's collections and stock of the backdoor bookstore, which is another major source of revenue. With the help of the Friends of the Library, the South Georgia Regional Library System has received over $40,000 for books, furniture, and library programs in 2011.
All the money we raise through this volunteer effort is funneled back into the library system, most all of it.
Many local community members attend the book sale at South Georgia Regional Library as it gives them a chance to emphasize their literacy and entertain themselves at a great price. In addition, it also gives the community members an opportunity to give back to their communities and work towards the goal of achieving a higher level of knowledge throughout the community. Friends of the Library Backdoor Bookstore has been serving the literary needs of Valdosta community for many years. With News Valdosta, I'm Patricia Magnan.
Following its recent initial public offering, the social media giant Facebook is now interested in buying several new technologies. Two of the most prominent being the internet software browser Opera, whose mobile browsing software boasts 170 million users, and Face.com, an Israeli-based facial recognition service. This news rides alongside rumors that Facebook may produce its own unique mobile technology in the coming years.
A little over a year ago, Team Maverick Couch wore a shirt that boldly states, "Jesus is not a homophobe" at his Waynesville High School in Ohio. The principal instructed him to turn the shirt inside out or face suspension. Couch complied, but the following fall was suspended for wearing the shirt yet again. Lambda Legal sued on behalf of Couch and recently won the battle, allowing the student to wear the shirt he received from a friend's aunt. The student is also receiving $20,000 in damages and court costs.
Students on VSU's campus might be noticing some new art pieces popping up around. News Valdosta's Benjamin Skender has more on that story.
Over the past year, some abstract art has appeared on campus. They popped up in order to give some general beautification to VSU. Dr. John Gaston, Dean of the College of the Arts, said that they were brought in on student request to liven up the campus. We asked some art students how they liked the inclusion of art on their walk to class.
I actually do, because I feel that people are trying to say that art isn't important, and so by putting sculptures around a campus brings more focus to the art building and more people are interested in art. So I think it's a wonderful thing to have the sculptures on campus.
Stand on top of it. Other such pieces are the spheres behind the Fine Arts Building and the Blackbird by the Student Union. Some of these sculptures have raised some skepticism from students.
You don't see it as well because of all the shadow from the trees. It's surrounded by trees, nobody really notices it, and so it's like it's not even there.
The most recent piece is the spire-like monolith outside the Education Building. Some students have been curious as to why it appeared at the forefront of the campus.
Well, I think it's a great piece, a great non-objective piece. It's rather anxious looking. The thing, it's such a stark black metal, and then it's also very sharp. The art seems to be absent in our culture now because there's so much put into like the businesses and sciences, and it's underappreciated, but once it's integrated back, they'll realize the importance.
John Gaston, Dean of the College of the Arts, has stated that these sculptures have appeared on campus in order to provide conversation as art should. He has also stated that the base that has appeared in front of the library is not a fountain, as people have assumed recently. It is in fact a new sculpture that will hopefully be done before the fall semester. With your News Valdosta, I'm Ben Skender.
Donald Trump still has the fortitude to fire back in a public battle of words. A few years ago, he went back and forth with Rosie O'Donnell. This time, he's fighting conservative commentator George Will. George Will stated on the Fox News network that Trump is a bloviating ignoramus, adding that if your net worth is high enough, your IQ can still be low and you can still intrude into American politics. It didn't take long for Trump to say that Will was the dumbest commentator and that if the Republicans listen to him, they will lose.
Thanks for watching News Valdosta. I'm Stephen Cook.
And I'm Allison Brooke. Have a good day.
We'll see you next time.